I met a man. I met a man who was a woman, who was a man, who was a woman, who was a man, who met a woman, who met her genes, who ticked the toe, who was a man, who X the X and XX the Y. I met a friend who preferred to pi than to 3 or 3.2, the infinite slide through the river of identitude. A boat he did not want to sink, who met a God, who was a tiny space, who was a shot, who was a God, who was a sun, who was a girl, who was a tree. I met a God who was a sign, who was a mold, who fermented a new species on the pier beneath the ropes of coral. I met a man who was a fume, who was a man, who was a ramp, who was a peril, who was a woman, who carried the X and X the YY who XX the simple torch. I rest the man who, a woman, who tells the cold, who preferred a wind, who was a silo, a chime, who met a corner, a fuel, an aurora, a hero, a final sweep. 10 years without a name, an ordinary life.